All right, today we're doing something a little different. Think of it as a kind of mental surgery. We're going to take a scalpel to the flawed financial thinking that keeps so many of us stuck. And our scalpel, well, it comes from the mind of a true revolutionary. Let's get right into it. Just look around you for a second. Seriously, you're surrounded by some of the most advanced technology humanity has ever created. But here's the big question, the paradox we need to tackle. How is it that the tech in your pocket is from the future, but the financial logic in your head is basically from the Stone Age? This slide lays it out perfectly, doesn't it? On one hand, you've got 5G internet, AI, instant access to everything. But on the other hand, your financial strategy is waiting for luck, relying on superstition, just passively accepting whatever comes. The problem isn't your phone or your Wi-Fi, it's the mental software you're running. It's buggy, it's outdated, and it's time for a serious update. So let's be really clear about this. Your financial struggles aren't just bad luck. They aren't a curse from the heavens. We need to start thinking of it like a clinical symptom, a symptom of a contagious mental illness that the revolutionary thinker Tan Malaka called logika sakit, or quite literally, sick logic. This right here, this is the diagnosis. Your empty bank account isn't your destiny. It's a symptom. This sick logic is what makes you daydream about getting rich quick. It's what paralyzes you when you should be taking action. And worst of all, it makes you a perfect target for anyone selling a fantasy. But you know the good news about any illness, right? There's always a cure. So, what is the cure for this widespread mental affliction? Well, for this kind of surgery, you need a very special kind of surgeon. Now, I want you to forget that dusty black and white photo you might vaguely remember from history class. Tan Malaka was one of the most brilliant fugitives the world has ever known. This guy wasn't just hiding. He was on the run, outthinking his enemies and changing the world. Just try to wrap your head around that number for a second. 11. 11 different countries had their spies, their police, their entire intelligence networks hunting for this one man. His life was in constant danger. Kind of puts our day-to-day stress about a slow internet connection into perspective, doesn't it? And yet, and this is what's truly mind-blowing, under these absolutely impossible conditions, being hunted, completely broke, always looking over his shoulder, he wrote his single greatest masterpiece. Think about that. He was fighting for his actual life, while most of us are just fighting the urge to hit the snooze button. It's staggering. And that masterpiece is called MADILOG. This is our surgical scalpel. It's an acronym, and it stands for three things. Materialism, which is all about seeing the world as it actually is, not how you wish it was. Dialectic, understanding that everything in life is a constant push and pull of opposing forces. And logic, the sharp, clear tool you use to navigate that reality. This is what we're going to use to cut out the rot. Okay, deep breath. The operation begins now. We're about to dissect 7 deep-seated financial follies. And I'm warning you, this might sting a bit. Removing sick logic is never painless, but it's the only way to heal. Let's start with folly number 1. You might call it playing the slots or even day trading, but let's be honest about what it really is, a high-tech version of ancestor worship. You're not investing, you're just making voluntary donations to people who are already rich. I mean, look at this. Our ancestors burned incense and left offerings at a sacred tree, hoping for a miracle harvest. Today, you deposit money into some sketchy website and pray to the algorithm gods for a win. It's the exact same primitive logic, just wrapped in a shiny digital skin. And let's be clear, the god you're praying to is a piece of code written with one purpose, to make sure the house always, always wins. Okay, folly number 2. This one is such a sweet-sounding trap, self-reward. It feels so positive, right? So modern and enlightened, but in reality, it's a psychological weapon perfected by capitalism to trick your brain into happily digging its own financial grave. Let's put on Tan Malaka's materialist glasses for a second. That brand new iPhone you rewarded yourself with, does it put money into your pocket? No? Then it's not an asset. It's a liability. Its value is dropping every single day. If it doesn't generate income, it's a weight pulling you down. Buying liabilities with credit isn't a reward. It's staging a military coup against your own future. Now for a really sensitive one, the whole idea of gratitude. Look, gratitude is a beautiful thing, but too often we twist this noble concept into a comfortable excuse. It becomes a soft pillow we use to justify our own inaction, our own fear of trying and failing. It's a noble-sounding reason to just give up. This is the mindset shift we need. True gratitude is active. It's a two-handed approach. Malaka didn't sit back and say, well, at least we're colonized by a wealthy nation. Let's be grateful. No, he fought. To be blessed with a healthy mind and a capable body, and then to do nothing while poverty suffocates your family, that's not holiness. It's an insult to the very potential you were given.
Let's tackle an old, rusty piece of logic that's been passed down for generations. The idea that having a lot of kids is a direct path to wealth. Now, maybe that made sense in a different time, a different economy, but applying that logic today, it's basically financial suicide.
Back in the agrarian age, yeah, it made sense. More children meant more free hands to work the farm. But today, the game has completely changed. More children means more school fees, more doctor's visits, more data plans, more expenses. Thinking your kids are your retirement plan just creates a vicious cycle of poverty, trapping them in what we now call the sandwich generation.
And here's folly number 5, the toxic myth that a fancy university degree is an automatic golden ticket to wealth. We've been fed this lie since we were kids, right? Just get the degree and you'll be set for life. But a piece of paper is just a symbol. A real-world skill that solves a real-world problem, that's what actually produces value. That's what makes you money.
Oh, this is a big one. A favorite on motivational posters everywhere. The belief that just pure, brute force, physical hard work is the key to getting rich. But think about it. If sheer hard work guaranteed wealth, construction workers and farmhands would be the wealthiest people on the planet, not investors and entrepreneurs.
This analogy just says it all, doesn't it? Your strategy isn't just inefficient, it's absurd. In the economy we live in today, value comes from leverage, from intelligence, not just from sweat. The whole game has to shift from kerja keras, working hard, to kerja cerdas, working smart. The question is, are you showing up with a spoon or a chainsaw?
And finally, we arrive at the most dangerous, most paralyzing folly of them all. That quiet, comforting little whisper in the back of your mind that says, don't worry, if it's meant to be, it'll happen. The idea that your fortune is just floating out there and will eventually find its way to you. This is the ultimate excuse for doing absolutely nothing. It is the lullaby of the lazy.
So, the surgery is complete. We've identified the infection, we've exposed the follies. And now you're standing at a fork in the road. You have to make a choice.
You really only have two choices. On one side, you can remain a slave to sick logic. You can live a life of passivity, blaming fate, blaming the government, blaming everyone but yourself, and ultimately leave nothing but debt for your children to inherit. Or you can become a MADILOG gorilla, someone who has the courage to turn that surgical scalpel on their own mind, to see the cold, hard material facts of their situation, and to act with ruthless logic to build a better future. I'm going to leave you with one final thought to chew on. Malaka spent most of his adult life physically trapped, hiding in jungles, locked in cells, constantly on the run. But his mind? His mind was radically, fiercely, unstoppably free. Now think about your life. You are, most likely, physically comfortable. You have a roof over your head, a soft bed, Wi-Fi. But your mind is imprisoned by debt, by anxiety about what others think, by all this faulty logic we just talked about. So the real question is, who's actually the one in jail here? Think about it.